We are walking hand in hand into heaven, into an experience that is so expansive that the mind can never even begin to comprehend. It tries, but it doesn't go very far. You know, just a few moments ago, I was thinking about my iPhone here. And you may have heard this, but a few years ago, Apple was caught doing something that they got into some trouble for. It was discovered that they were particularly designing their iPhones so that after a couple of years, they would start to slow down and not work so well. They were designing it that way. Obviously, so you'd buy a new one. You'd say, something's wrong with my phone. I need to get a new one now because it's not working as well as it should. It's slowing down. It's dying. Then it was discovered that Apple was doing this, and well, they, I hope, stopped. But the point is that the phone was designed to do that. The phone was actually designed to slow down and to ultimately die. And so it was just playing out its design. There was nothing inherent within the phone itself. It was the way it was designed to be, to act. And when you think about it, we're the same way. We were designed to perceive ourselves as a body that grows old and ultimately at some point becomes sick, and finally the end is sure. But is that true? Is that really true? Or is that just some kind of a design intentional flaw to keep us locked in, or to keep us wanting to spin to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, so that we don't realize that there is no next. It's all happening right now. And no matter how you were designed, no
Please
matter
mute
how
the
this
radio.
idea was built into you that you must grow old and sick and die, there's something in you that realizes that there's more, that there's something else. You feel it. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. The other question is, well, who designed it that way? Or who designed you that way? And the obvious answer would be you. God didn't design you to grow old and sick and die so that you would need a new iPhone or a new body or whatever it may be. And if you are able to accept that you designed yourself with a small s to follow that pattern, the next question is simply, why? Why would you choose such a thing when you could choose instead to realize that I am as God created me? And as God created me, there is no design flaw. As God created me, there is no program that forces me to grow old, undergo sickness and pain, and finally die. Ultimately, it doesn't matter why I did it, just the recognition that I did, and to take full responsibility for that, and to not keep putting that out as, well, that's just how things are. The truth is, that's not how things are. How things are is filled with light and love and eternal passion, eternal life. So as I was sitting here thinking about this right before we started, I realized that now that we've begun a new year, 2021, I think it's time for us to turn up the heat, to take it up a level or two. For the whole year, to make a decision right here and right now that we are in this for real. We're not coming together, whether it be in the morning or watching this on YouTube later. We're not coming together just to entertain ourselves or to have something to do. There must be a higher purpose. We have to be in this for real. And to me, what that means is showing up and opening up. It doesn't mean planning what we're going to talk about or what's going to be shared. We don't do very much of that anyway. But in the past, I would write a lesson or write a song or have something that I would look at before and I would read and just kind of riff off that. And I realize now that there's a higher frequency that we're being called to, and that is to show up and open up and to let it be okay just to relax into that current in that river and to see where it takes us together. So we're going to be turning up the heat in 2021 with the full intention that we are going to see through and past that design flaw, that intention to play out a particular pattern that we designed into ourselves to hide from the truth that we have always been, the truth that has always been true. We are going to lift above all of that, to have that single intention. And every day when we come together, to just allow and say yes and open up to that divine current. Maybe we'll start with one line. Maybe there'll be a line that'll jump out at me from some book or something that I've heard. Maybe we'll just go with that and let that take us. For example, I wrote down one line that I was just reading, and that line was, "The Christ in you is very still. He looks on what he loves and knows it as himself." Just take that in. Maybe close your eyes and listen to it one more time and take a deep breath. The Christ in you is very still. He looks on what he loves and knows it as himself. Just feel that, like a burning coal that's been in the fire for so long that it radiates and burns with that heat. That's what these lines are like. They're like burning coals that have been in the fire for a very long time. We can take one of those coals and we can sit with it and be warmed by it. The Christ in you is so very still. It needs nothing. It simply is. It's not seeking, it's not trying, it has no purpose other than to look upon itself and to know itself as what it is. And then to shine, to radiate that light, that heat. Maybe this is how that design, like the iPhone, that design within me that I built in to have these limitations and to ultimately grow old, sick, and die. Maybe this is how that design is overwhelmed. It's overwhelmed with light. It's overwhelmed with peace and truth and radiance by being very still within the light. Is that why we're here? I mean, I can't think of another reason at this point. Sure, maybe there have been different times in our lives when we thought, well, I'm here to do this or I'm here to do that. I'm here to raise a family. I'm here to have a career. And I'm here to do whatever it is. It doesn't even matter. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I have to have another purpose. And I need to string them together over the course of a lifetime. And then at the very end, those beads are going to start to get further and further apart as my mind begins to slip away. And then I follow the final program, the final thing that I programmed into this mechanism. Now I lay my body aside and maybe I pick up another one. What a bunch of nonsense. The only purpose that any of us has is to realize this and to wake up to this, because the Christ in you is very still. Why is it very still? Because it knows what it is. It knows what it is. You know who you are. You've been ignoring it, perhaps. You've been closing your eyes to it, perhaps. But this is the time for us to open our eyes and to see that and to feel that and to radiate that to everyone. So this is what we're going to be doing in 2021. Maybe we'll come in with a line from something. Maybe we won't. Maybe we just open up and allow. And in doing so, I believe that there's going to be a frequency that we're going to touch that has always been there. But because we've been cutting those cords, I always like the analogy of a hot air balloon that has been tethered with ropes that are tied to big stakes in the ground. And this hot air balloon, the balloon is full, it's ready to fly, but it only lifts as far as those ropes will allow. Maybe there are 30 or 40 or 50 of those ropes and they're holding it back. Maybe it rises only 20 feet off the ground because that's as far as the ropes go. So all we're doing now is we're cutting those ropes because we know that we, like the balloon, are meant to fly. And what are those ropes but ideas and thoughts and programs, design flaws? And now as we come together, we join in the single intention of cutting them all so that we can finally lift above this earth all of these limitations, all of these designs, everything. We lift above the earth and we soar to heaven. So I hope that you'll continue to join us in this amazing flight. You don't need to fasten your seatbelts. In fact, I suggest you don't. You're perfectly safe. And by perfectly, I mean there's nothing that can harm you. All we're really doing is we're lifting above what you thought could harm you. We're lifting above all the ideas of harm, of limitation. And we're remembering, once again, that the Christ in you is very still. He looks on what he loves and knows it as himself. She looks at what she loves and she knows it as herself. You are looking at yourself. You are looking at you right now and you know who you are. What more could you ever desire? So, of course, Vicky and Teddy and these guys, they never know what I'm going to do or what I'm going to talk about or what new sort of direction I'm going to have. And it's always great fun just to launch it on everyone, including them. So Vicky, how does that sound to you? How does this new direction for 2021 feel?
Right in sync, Jimmy, especially after yesterday. And I listened again to In Quiet I Received God's Word today. I felt that that was the clarion call for the year. I also felt it coupled. For me, I felt this, the best way I can describe it is like the heart and the mind of Mary, the mother. You know, when you have a newborn child, and if we're being born and being birthed as the light that we are, that a mother watches that child with vigilance and doesn't presume to know what to do, is waiting for the cues of what to do. And it's only when you listen and look with quiet that you can listen and recognize the cues. And I feel like this light that is being uncovered in us, that we're being untethered from that automatic ego system, that operating system is being loosened. And in order to start operating from the light system, the true system that shines and that operates effortlessly by grace, that in this period, especially right now, collectively, that we need to be quiet. We need to be tuned to that child that's birthing in us, that's ready to emerge fully. And that's every day. It's a way of life, a way of being quiet, in tune with this freedom, that we no longer want to keep death and sickness as our operating code. But we don't have a lot of models around us in time for an operating code of simply love and light, and that we are given the opportunity to be those models. So as we emerge into this new operating system of grace, operating system of light, the way to recognize it is to be very quiet, to listen, spend time in quiet. I was realizing for me, I'm going to spend time, much more time, just abiding again and listening, and maybe joining with Mary, spending more time in that mode of that mother's love, because I want this child of Christ in my brothers and myself to be in full bloom. And I recognize that needs nurturing, and it needs vigilance and attention. And the best way to give the light attention is by letting it be in that quiet stillness of receptivity, and then following the light, following the impulse. And so I'm right in sync with you. And yesterday I put down my pen. I always doodle and take notes to see where you are and where it's going. And yesterday I knew no more of that, and I didn't today. So just it's in sync, because we do share that one mind. But the reference that comes to me, maybe because I'm a woman, is that mother's attention, that mother's uh, kind of uh, positioning of gentleness, of love supreme. There's no doubt that this child will grow and emerge, and we are the child itself. So we need to give ourselves that kind of nurturance. And it's stillness, it's quiet, it's listening, truly listening, not just to within, but listening to one another, listening around us with new ears that hear and new eyes that see, that recognize, oh, this is that receptivity, that light, that strength that's coming in to express itself freely, untethered. So that's where I went with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. We have been untethered. The ropes have been cut. Maybe there's one that's still there, and everything is, it's straining to hold this down, to hold it back, but it's not going to be successful. We're about to soar. We're about to fly. So let's be about it. Teddy, how about you? What would you like to share today?
Well, the truth is, I'm not entirely sure. Um, it really is true that we have habituated ourselves to thinking we're free, and the freedom that we think we have is based on the idea that we have a choice. When the truth is, the entirety of our freedom is based on the fact that we have no choice but to be as God created us. And that is what freedom is. Um, Unfortunately, I think what people get hung up on here is their idea of freedom, because their idea of freedom, their idea of being untethered, is based on the laws of the world rather than the law and nature of God creating. And that's the difference. You know, freedom here is pale compared to the freedom and beingness that we are as all expressive in reality. And that just takes a glimpse, because the glimpse is eternal and it can't be changed, can't be altered. And, you know, one of the things that I've sort of understood, and it goes back to what you guys are both saying, there is a time when this becomes, I don't know, there's stages in the development of man. And at some point in time, there's a time where, what Jesus says is a qualitative shift is available based on a quantitative realization. Well, there's some sort of quantitative realization that has taken place. And the truth is, we need the course to understand what to do with this freedom because we've never really had it or been able to live in it the way we are now. And to me, that's one of the benefits. If a teaching, a spiritual teaching, could be helpful, it would be to help us understand how to live in that state of grace, um, rather than try to use the state of grace to continue to be as we think we are in the world, to rise up and rise out, to resurrect, to ascend, whatever you want to call it. And who knows what that's going to look at because all appearances are false. But the idea when your mind is changed and that becomes your purpose, we need a way to be about that purpose, to be about our Father's business. And coming together and sharing with each other how to do that reinforces the fact that it is true, it is happening. And we learn by our mistakes, and the mistakes are meaningless. That's it. We can make all the mistakes in the world, but one sort of correction heals all wounds, let's say. Um, and the certainty that we're only doing it to ourselves and our learning curve affects only ourselves, not our brothers, is good too because, we're not holding anybody back. We're just trying to advance and to the best of our ability be with our brothers as we all advance as one. Because we came in as one and we're going out as one. And the separation is healing when we no longer think of ourselves as alone. And we look out and we experience not being alone the way we just experienced not being alone in our, in an experience not of this world. As above, so below, as within, so without. And that's why these gatherings are taking place, because we've seen something and we're looking into each other's eyes. And we're seeing it in each other now. And we're reinforcing it. And that's all good.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Teddy. Wow, that is all good. I love how you say that our idea of freedom has always been that we have so many choices. But true freedom is the realization that there's only one choice, to be as God created me. It's like that great song, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. There's nothing left for us to lose at this point because everything is gained in that one single choice, that one realization that I am and will always remain exactly as I was created, wholly beyond measure. So that's where we're going. That's what this focus is going to be. And it's going to be laser sharp because there's no other reason for us to be here than to join in that light, that laser sharpness. Otherwise we're just, playing. And playing's fine. There's nothing wrong with playing, but we have to really allow ourselves to sink into this single truth. I am as God created me. There's nothing I can do about it. That's the unchoice that I have. There's nothing I can do about it. Just allow it to be true. Go ahead, Teddy.
Yeah, there is a point at which sufficient quantitative changes produce real qualitative differences. The next point requires real understanding because it is the point at which the shift occurs.
Amen.
That's it.
That is it indeed. All right, let's sneak over here to Namaste. You guys turn on your camera, and I'm going to go ahead and spotlight you guys. Whoa, hold on one. There you are. Where did you go? Okay, there's Namaste. Spotlight for everyone. Good morning. Good to see you, family. Good morning, Christina. Good to see you as well. So, what would you like to add to this beautiful discussion of the Christ so very still within us?
It's feeling very still out here this morning. I am happy to hear the intention shifting. I may say something that some may not like me for later, and I apologize.
Here we go.
Here comes the crucifixion. So we all conceptually know that true power, awakening, God realization happens from within. And these calls can be a personality boost. We show up, we're thinking, we're in a place where, oh, I love what he or she said. Wow, I really resonate with that. Oh, right, I'm back on path. And all of that is still in the realm of personality. My personality resonates with what's being said. My personality loves the excitement or the joy or the truth that I hear. But until we go beyond the realm of personality, which includes no words, we will never know our natural awakened state. So I'm very happy to hear that there will be more of a now, right? It's either a thought moment or it's a God moment. There's nothing in between. I'm either fully present here now or I'm thinking, and what is it that I choose in this moment? That's where the choice lies. And one of our brothers, Cal, actually suggested the other day to me that what if on Wednesdays, assuming we continue to have our silent time, that the Zoom session also be silent? And I say yes 100% to that, because if we are not merging as one in the silence and allowing that power that is greater than all of us to escape from within, we're really missing an opportunity. There's so much more that can happen through us if we reach that place together at the same time, rather than just talking about and getting all excited about what the topic is for the day. So yes, something to consider for our Wednesdays, and also something to consider every day together. Every enlightened master says the same thing: be still, be silent, listen. And I would love to see us do more of that together. Thank you.
Well, I love what you said about the potential personality boost that we could use these sessions for, these holy joinings. And that's certainly not what they're intended for, but we could use them for whatever we choose to use them for. And if that's what we're using them for, that's what it'll be. There'll be boosts to the egoic personality that wants to think that it can get this, wants to think that it has a role to play in this. And the realization that it has no role can be very threatening to that part of us that we've claimed for a very long time. But this is why the experience is so, well, it's the only thing. There's nothing but that experience, which will come to you however it comes to you, in silence and song. But the experience is right there, and that's where we are. We're not here to boost one another or uh, to strengthen anything at all. We're here to simply relax and allow that light to be the only light, and that grace to be the only grace. Who else would like to share something at Namaste? Anybody? Come on up, Rod.
Does this say? Well, I just wanted to add my 2 cents
Oh,
on.
you got at least four.
Oh, I'm on. So about form.
At least 4 cents.
Okay. As we projected ourselves, as you said, we're the ones who made us. But I choose to believe that we made us with Spirit's backing. And that's why we have grace again. And that's why we can always be at ease. But the brilliance of how we created ourselves is from my own personal life. My first 35 years were, motorcycles and beer cans. And when you are so distracted, there is no room for quiet, or there wasn't in my life. And it wasn't until this body started to slow down. After a few crashes, you just don't distract yourself as much. And then all of a sudden, you don't even have to crash motorcycles. Your body aches all by itself. Just need no help, And this will be my 80th year. And it's like, wow, am I ever seeing more stillness? And so I think we did a pretty damn good job of projecting these bodies so they fall apart, and then you really look for that stillness without any help. You just go there naturally.
Thank you. Lakshmi, welcome back. Come on up.
Hi.
What about you? Sit in the chair so the other microphone picks you up. Thank you.
Forgot the process. It's been a couple weeks. Happy to be here. Today was, as always, perfect. My ego mind loved it. In the United States, I had a company called Be Free, and I would help people live fuller, richer lives with less stuff. And I'd professionally organize them and do like spiritual organization. And now I'm here and I'm unlearning so much of my egoic wants and needs and letting those go and stepping more into living spirit first. And I love what you said about, the freedom. And there's so much freedom in recognizing that we are whole, holy, and perfect, exactly as God made us. And there's like not even a need to undo or unlearn or get rid of, because it's just that freedom and choice. And I notice myself walking this line of, well, now my ego wants to be a freedom coach and help people be free in a different way. And then the other part of me that's like, everyone is exactly perfect, exactly as they are, and doesn't need anything from me. So that's my sharing this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, that's what freedom is, the realization that we don't need anything, that we're whole and complete exactly as we are. Thank you, dear. All right, let's shift over to back to the Zoom room and see if anybody here has anything they would like to share. Anybody? Nehemiah, why don't you go ahead? Go ahead and unmute yourself first. Can't hear you, brother. You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
A lot of chutzpah for me as a newbie to dare to share, and I apologize for trying to do it on Sunday because Sunday is not for newcomer to share, I realize. So I want to say that I'm aware for a few years of the three main ropes that are holding me. They're called in yoga vasana, lines of samskara that are carried from lifetime to lifetime. And I'm aware of them. That doesn't mean that I'm letting them go. I'm just aware of them, which is good. So with your invitation, which has been the most powerful one that I ever heard for New Year, and I heard quite a few of them, but maybe this is the time to hear the most powerful one. I'm jumping into the fire with the intention to let go of them every minute as much as I can, to be in my heart and let go of, I wouldn't name them now because I don't need to bother use my personality, but to let go of them and just be. And I have one question which is coming from my personality. I need to know if your video that I shared as part of my service, or whatever you call it, with close to 30 people who are very evolved, if it's going to be available for long term or you're cutting it soon so I can let them know to listen to it or whatever.
These videos of the morning session.
The video of St. Francis' life.
Which are you talking about? The musical?
Yeah, is it going to be available or it's a limited time?
No, it's on YouTube. You can find it at any time.
Okay, because I want to tell people that they can relax because I told them it's a holiday gift. You must listen to it now. Now I know this for a long time. Okay, that's it. Anyway, we say Dibakti. I said what I needed to say, and I appreciate each one of you so much and being here.
Good to see you, brother. And Candace, I see you have your hand up. Please go right ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is my first time attending, and so I had no idea what your format was in the past. And I also didn't know that you were Course in Miracles. I'm just familiar with you as an author. And I don't even know how I got the email. And I'm just so grateful, you know, that I'm here. And that you should say, starting today, you're doing a different format and about sharing. Well, what I heard was that we share from our feelings, that it's going to be more free form than you had before. And I attend another group, and that's exactly what they do, and it's been very powerful. Sharing one's feelings in a safe environment has. I know I benefit a lot. And then when you combine it with Course in Miracles, I just started back up doing the exercises. I'd never done the workbook all the way through. And so I'm just so grateful to be part of this group. And would you put in there in the chat about the St. Francis, what that was all about? Because I just took a class on St. Francis, and I'd love to see the YouTube, the video that he was referring to.
Sure.
So thank you, and I look forward to joining you every morning.
Great. Welcome to you, dear. We're so happy you joined us. And I don't have the link handy right now, but you could either find it on YouTube. I believe he was speaking about the one-man musical that I did on the life of St. Francis. But I'll go ahead and I'll put that in an email one of these days soon, just as a way of keeping it out there and people can watch it in that way. Is there anyone else who wants to share anything at all before we go? Yes, Judy, go right ahead.
Hi, one of these days I'll figure out how to make the electronic hand come up. But thank you for noticing my hand. And I'd like to say that since what, 6.5, almost 7 years ago, James, when you and Vicky had the morning call, I'm not a morning person, I may have said before, but my soul wakes me pretty much for it. And I have become dedicated, not because of the personalities, although I do love you and your personality. You are the beacon, and we, and gather us together. But mostly I come for the resonance, for the language, for the feeling of that acceptance, that forgiveness, that love, that realization. And every once in a while, well, more than once in a while, a personality thing will come up with somebody will say, and I'll think, but I know then that's something for me not to respond or figure out to, but to realize, this is something my ego has a little trouble with. But it's such an opportunity to overlook. And when I'm not in concordance with what I'm hearing, to know that the person is whole and healed and is me. So it's an experience so unique that I'm up here every morning to join, because my soul gets nourished. And I thank you. I thank you very, very much. I'm looking forward to this next year of soul expressions. There will be music though, I hope.
Oh, I'll sing a song once in a while, sure.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. I was talking to my daughter last night, and she's thinking about joining this coaching program. It combines coaching, nutrition, exercise, and she said, "I'm feeling really kind of nervous about it, and it kind of scares me a little bit." And I said, "That's a sign that this is good. If you're feeling like there's oh no." Because that part of us that we were describing before, that ego self, that separate identity, is going to do everything it can to protect itself as if it's real, as if it needs protection, as if it's vulnerable. And when something comes along like this, for example, and I'm saying this just in case you are beginning to feel like, uh-oh, what's going on here? This is a good sign, because it means that you're pushing up against that imaginary wall, and that separate identity knows its days are not only numbered but are over. So whatever you're feeling, you might be feeling ecstatic joy, you might be feeling a little bit of nervousness, like, oh man, if we're going to turn up the intensity here, what's that going to mean? How's that going to shift me? Whatever it may be, just go with it, because this is your soul singing and rejoicing and happy that the moment of release has come. Those ropes are being untethered. We're about to soar. Okay, we'll do one more. I see that Myra has her hand up and has been waving at me, so go ahead, Myra.
Thank you. All is well. All is very, very, very well. Wishing all a happy, happy always.
There you go. All is well, and all manner of things are well. Amen. Well, there you go. We have a good start, I think, to our 2021. As I said, we're going to just keep diving in deeper and deeper and brighter and brighter. I don't know what that means or how that's going to happen. It'll happen in the moment every single day. But let's go. Let's do this. And as always, we'll go ahead and we'll close with our final prayer. And this is an experience, as we say every day. This is the experience that we are here for, to realize that I am right now the holy, perfect child of God, complete and healed and whole. So say these words as if you really mean them. Here we go. I am
the
holy,
only child
God,
of God,
complete,
complete
healed and whole,
and healed whole,
shining
in reflections
of God's love.
God's love.
In me is creation
Me
sanctified
and
and guaranteed eternal
life.
in me,
His love
perfected, fear
is
impossible,
impossible
and joy
to
established
establish.
without opposite. I am the holy home of love.
Love itself.
I am
And the
heaven where love
love
resides. I am God's
God
this itself. For in my purity abides God's Son.
on.
And there you have it.
And
And
so it
so it
is.
is.
So it is.
So it is.
Mighty companion.
Namaste.
So it is.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Everybody, we'll see you
Bye,
next
Thank
everyone.
you.
Beautiful
Thank you, James.
sharings.
Yeah,
Thank you for the
namaste.
shares. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Love you.
I love you.